The Seven Dials Mystery. Chapter 19. Bundle Brent was a resourceful and imaginative girl. She knew that Bill and maybe Jimmy would object to her joining them in the night's possible dangers. Bundle didn't want to waste time arguing. She had already made her own plans and arrangements. A quick look out her bedroom window before dinner was very encouraging. She knew the Abbey walls had a lot of ivy, but the ivy outside her window looked especially strong and sturdy. This meant it would be easy for someone as athletic as her to climb. She had no problem with Bill's and Jimmy's plans, but she felt they didn't go far enough. She didn't say anything because she planned to take care of the rest herself. Simply put, while Jimmy and Bill focused on the inside of the Abbey, Bundle planned to focus on the outside. Her quiet agreement to the minor role they gave her brought her great joy, even as she wondered scornfully how the two men could be so easily fooled. Bill wasn't known for being smart, but he should have known better when it came to her, and she thought Jimmy Thesiger, even though he barely knew her, should have realized she wouldn't be dismissed so quickly. Alone in her room, Bundle quickly got ready. First, she took off her evening dress and underclothes, starting her preparations from the basics. Bundle hadn't brought her maid, and had packed her own bags. If she had brought her maid, the Frenchwoman would have been confused about why her lady packed riding breeches without any other horse-riding gear. Dressed in riding breeches, rubber-soled shoes, and a dark sweater, Bundle was ready for action. She checked the time. Only 12:30. It was too early. Whatever was going to happen would take some time. Everyone in the house needed to be asleep first. Bundle decided to start her plan at 1:30. She turned off the light and waited by the window. Punctually at 1:30 a.m., she stood up, slid the window up, and swung her leg over the sill. It was a clear, cold, and quiet night, with starlight but no moon. She found the climb down very easy. Bundle and her two sisters had played wildly in the park at Chimneys as children, and could all climb like cats. Bundle landed in a flower bed, slightly out of breath, but completely unharmed. She paused to review her plan. She knew the Air Minister and his secretary were staying in the West Wing, which was on the opposite side of the house. A terrace ran along the south and west sides of the house, ending at a walled fruit garden. Bundle stepped out of the flower bed and turned the corner of the house to the south side of the terrace. She crept silently along, staying close to the shadows. But as she reached the second corner, she was startled. A man was standing there, clearly intending to stop her. The next moment, she recognized him. "Superintendent Battle, you gave me a fright." "That's what I'm here for," the superintendent replied calmly. Bundle looked at him. As always, she was struck by how little he tried to hide himself. He was large, solid, and easy to spot. He seemed very English. But Bundle was sure of one thing. Superintendent Battle was smart. "What are you really doing here?" she whispered. "Just making sure," Battle said, "that nobody who shouldn't be here is out and about." "Oh," said Bundle, a little shocked. "You, for instance, Lady Eileen, I don't think you usually go for a walk at this time of night." "Do you mean," Bundle asked slowly, "that you want me to go back?" Superintendent Battle nodded approvingly. "You catch on fast, Lady Eileen. That's exactly what I mean. Did you come out of a door or the window?" "The window. Climbing this ivy is super easy." The superintendent looked up thoughtfully. "Yes," he said, "I would say so." "And you want me to go back?" Bundle said. "I'm annoyed about that. I wanted to go around to the West Terrace." "Perhaps you won't be the only one who wants to do that," Battle noted. "Nobody could miss seeing you," Bundle said, rather spitefully. The superintendent seemed pleased by this. "I hope they won't," he said. "No trouble, that's my motto. And if you'll excuse me, Lady Eileen, I think it's time you went back to bed." His firm tone allowed no argument. Rather disappointed, Bundle went back the way she came. She was halfway up the ivy when a sudden thought hit her, and she almost lost her grip and fell. What if Superintendent Battle suspected her? There was something in his manner that hinted at that idea. She couldn't help laughing as she climbed over the sill into her room. Imagine the serious superintendent suspecting her. Although she had returned to her room as Battle ordered, Bundle had no intention of sleeping. She didn't think Battle truly expected her to. He wasn't a man to expect the impossible. And for Bundle, it was impossible to stay still when something exciting and daring might be happening. She checked her watch. It was 10 minutes to 2. After a moment of hesitation, she carefully opened her door. Not a sound. Everything was calm and quiet. She crept along the passage. She paused once, thinking she heard a board creak, but deciding she was wrong, she kept going. She was now in the main corridor, heading toward the west wing. She reached the corner where the halls met and carefully looked around. Then she stared in shock. The watcher's post was empty. Jimmy Fessinger was not there. Bundle was completely amazed. What had happened? Why had Jimmy left his post? What did it mean? At that moment, she heard a clock strike 2. She was still standing there, wondering what to do next, when her heart suddenly leaped and then seemed to stop. The door handle of Terence O'Rourke's room was slowly turning. Bundle watched, captivated, but the door did not open. Instead, the knob slowly returned to its original position. What did this mean? Suddenly, Bundle made a decision. Jimmy had deserted his post for some unknown reason. She had to find Bill. Quickly and quietly, Bundle ran back the way she had come. She burst, without knocking, into Bill's room. "Bill, wake up! Oh, please, wake up!" She whispered urgently, but there was no reply. "Bill," Bundle breathed. Impatiently, she switched on the lights and then stood speechless. The room was empty, and the bed hadn't even been slept in. Where was Bill? Suddenly she gasped. This wasn't Bill's room. The delicate silk nightwear over a chair, the feminine decorations on the dressing table, the black velvet evening dress carelessly thrown over a chair. Of course, in her rush, she had gone to the wrong door. This was Countess Radsky's room. But where was the Countess? And just as Bundle was asking herself this question, the night's silence was violently broken.
The noise came from downstairs. In an instant, Bundle sped out of the Countess's room and ran down the stairs. The sounds came from the library, a loud crashing of chairs being knocked over. Bundle rattled the locked library door in vain, but she could clearly hear the struggle inside, the heavy breathing and shuffling, curses in different voices, the occasional crash of light furniture being broken. And then, ominous and clear, breaking the peace for good, 2 shots rang out quickly.